Dear friends, greetings to one, greetings to all. I am Ragnor, I am of that which is the Lyran community, and I have with me this day, this moment, this galactic meeting of fellow bloodline. I have all that are here of the Lyrans, of the princes, of the royal bloodline, of the captains, of the Federational Command. We are here, present, at this time, observing that which is the home that once gave us shelter. We recognize it not, for much has changed upon the surface of this land. And yet within it we still recognize the vibration and the resonance that calls to us. For in the earth are the placements of our DNA that we have landed and left, that we have placed within the very belly of Tignaya, knowing that she would hold it, she would mature it, she would produce from it that which would be for the highest and the most value for humanity. But humanity has found these deposits that we have left behind, mined it, ripped it from the earth, and again has no understanding of the deposits that were left behind, why we left these. But that is just part of the story of humanity. The story that humanity learned from those that fathered them, however illicitly and however abusively, but they were fathered. And they learned from those that kept them. And it is this perception that I wish to address this day. It is the perception of living under the shadow, living under the forethought, living under someone else's opinion, someone else's decree of your existence. For when we observe those that are here upon this plane, we see multiple species living together in harmony, and yet they are at the most disharmonious way that they have ever existed. The harmony comes because that they are not at each other's throats. They have been forcibly manipulated into places of containment. And yet the energy that is there is, shall we say, quite vicious. The energy is not contained. The energy is not in a place of stability. It is still violently attacking the energy of humanity, of Tignaya, and that which is the life force of this planet. And we Lyran have said to you many times, and we have communicated to you over the years, it is time to rise in the honor, rise in the dignity, to know thyself and to be true. Because it is not the time to be present in physicality, but not be present in intelligence. It is not the time to be present in intelligence and not present in physicality, and to forget that the energy of that which is you must be accessible on all levels. Because in this moment, in this time, dear friends, it is the unlocking, it is the awakening. It is the moment that many Lyrans upon this earth have waited for, to understand, to comprehend that they are here for such a moment as this. That yes, they have chosen to incarnate, to reappear, to come back to this moment, to even, for some of you who may not believe this, yes, to come in full body incarnation, to experience the timings that is being experienced in this next decade. So there are those that are walking upon this plane that have not been born as you would expect a human or a humanoid to be born. They have just appeared. So the next time you see somebody that knows you so intimately and you have no knowledge consciously, but they know you, and they look upon you with eyes that are not of this earth, but eyes that show you the very inner being of the Lyran heart, acknowledge who they are. Now, you do not have to go, oh, you're a Lyran, yes, yes, yes. It is of the heart, it is of the dignity, it is of the honor. When you recognize it is of truth. And this is exactly where you are in at this moment. You are coming into an awareness, awakening of that which is your divine knowledge. That you no longer have to be under the thumb or under the rulership of another dominion, of another placed forethought, of somebody else's opinion, structure of thought. Indeed, it is a time where you, the earthbound human, you, the Lyran, you, the Palladian, you, the one that has chosen in this incarnated time to be present, whether it is for realignment, for readjustment back into the fullness of the power of the divine centeredness, or for that which is to come into the release, to bring yourself and those around you into the vibrational resonance of the higher frequencies, to assist Tignaya, to assist humanity into the next level of that which is what you refer to as the ascension, what we refer to as the Great Awakening. The Great Awakening has many corners, has many folds, has many understandings, many comprehensions, many windows to perceive. Because in the true ascension, in the true awakening, understand that you are powerless. There is nothing you as the human can do, as the humanoid in this moment are actually able to do. Elise is telling me, do not confuse them. They are thinking that they are here for a purpose to do much in the energy. And you are telling them, Ragnor, that they're not here to do anything, that they cannot do anything. And that is the dichotomy. That is the many windows. Because you see, that which is already here has been foretold. It has been played out. It is already in the wind, if we could say. And whilst there are many things that are occurring at this time that have yet never occurred on your plane, to the degree that they are being turned out at this moment, they have been played out before. When I say there is nothing you can do, it is that there is nothing you can do to prevent what is going to happen from happening. Swallow, take a deep breath, and understand what I am saying. As warriors, you understand, you have knowledge that commanders give information to the chiefs, that the chiefs give information to the captains, and so it flows down the chain of command until the man, the woman, the individual that is in the firing range, or that which is the man on the road, is told this is the plan. But it's already underway. Do not get in the way of it from happening. And this has been the fault of humanity. And by saying the fault, I'm not saying it is your fault. It is a fault within humanity. You get so intrigued, so wrapped up in what is happening and why it's happening and why isn't it happening yet and why hasn't it happened and what is going to happen, that you become so involved that you become a thorn or a bolt that becomes loose in the cogs. You become a stoppage because your inquisitiveness, which is a natural thing, it is a good thing, gets in the way of the flow of what the universe is doing. There is an energy that has come into your plane, into this realm. And it is beginning to educate, it is beginning to rewire certain parameters in the human consciousness. More and more humans are beginning to awaken. Not awaken in the way that used to mean great love and light, yes, but awaken in the way that they are becoming the warriors they are meant to become. They are warriors of action, warriors of deed, and they know what their calling is. There are many that are called at this time by the higher consciousness, by the cosmic mind, to enter into a state of intermediaryship, where they begin to mediate for humanity, to present the case of the human condition to the great energy of universe, to that which is the pure and divine energy of the great creator. Presenting case after case of why humanity is to be saved. And there are some that are called to mediate against humanity, to present equal, viable cases as to why humanity should be eradicated. Such is the time of the fulcrum in your time-space continuum. We Lyran have come because our promise is yet to be fulfilled. We are waiting for the final trumpet, so to speak, the final call, where Ragnör will allow us to come in full force and deal with the aged enemy of our people, the foe of our heart. And we are eager, believe me, we are eager. For we have dealt a blow many times to them in the regions that you have yet to imagine. But their stronghold, their nest is here upon this plain because they so believe, so believe that the heartstone, the crystal of Gaia is here. They are like ants tearing the inner part of her apart to search for it. They do not understand when we have said, when Telos has said, when even those who are awakened have said that the vibration is here, but the heartstone is not. Oh, they hear me. Do not worry. They know that I am present, and they listen. They know the voice of Ragnor, and they understand that I am close, so close to opening my weapon. But they know that I am bound, honor bound, to sheathe my sword. For I have not been released by Gaia, by my Tgnaya, your Gaia. But the battle is coming, my friends. And for those of you who are aware, those of you who are alert, and you are questioning when, do not hunger after bloodshed. It will come soon enough. Whether it is energetic or physical, it will come. Do not chase it. Do not be like those who for millennia have ruled your people by chasing you to generate the fear and generate the anguish of your energy to feed upon. But rejoice in this moment. Turn these moments around, because where these were meant to be moments of depression, where these were meant to slay humanity, do you understand that they were hoping that humans would become so desolate that you would have hung yourselves because of loneliness, because of the extreme separations? They were anticipating far more deaths of physical bodies than what has happened. And that is because of the ingenuous, formidable spirit of the human being that says, I will not give up. Push me down, I will stand up. Smack me down, I will stand up. Push me down again, I will stand up. It matters not what you do, I will stand. And that energy is the energy that we are looking for today. For we have called you to place upon you your armor. We have called you to place yourself in positions. It is not a small thing we ask. It is divinely centered. It is divinely planned out. Each request comes to you not because we have naught to say. And so therefore we fill empty words with empty space. But we come in a divine planned moment to speak unto you that which is the truth, that which is the vibrations of your realizations, your truths, your awarenesses. That as you begin to step into the true awareness of that sleeping DNA, as it begins to awaken more and more, Lyran, begin to practice. Practice the invisibility. Practice honor, integrity, truth. Practice knowing who you are. You call it the I am, the divine. Know who you are. Know the honor and integrity. Know the dignity. Know who you are, the strength and the family. Recognize the colors. What family do you identify with? Find your place. Those of you who are not Lyran, it matters not. Identify your place of that which you are called in the angelics, in the reptoids, in Zeta, in the humans that are here, the earthbound, the Terrans. It matters not the label that you are referred to. What matters is the heart of the energy that you are responding with. There is a great rejoicing to be had. There is a great dance of celebration. For as you begin to elevate yourself, as you begin to rise from the quagmire of all that is here to beset and to keep you locked in a pattern of drama, as you rise above this, as you come into your own sweet recognition of empowered beingness, where you are able to laugh in the wind, when the universe touches the crown of your head, and you recognize that touch, not just as wind or cobwebs or something that is flying in the stratosphere around you, but when you recognize it as the physical touch of the divine creator, universe, source, then you begin to recognize the divine calling in you. For whilst you have been told correctly that there is a divine plan, and then there is the plan within the divine plan, which is your working out of all things to get to the divine plan, now you will understand that you are at the frame. The divine plan is in place, and you are being called to do your part. You are being called to partake in the dance of the divinity. The dance of the divinity is to understand the spark within you, the life-giving force comes from one source, and that is the divine, the creator source. If the creator source created you and planted within you that particular divine spark, is not the divine in you and you in the divine? Are you not one and the same? So therefore, why do you keep so small? It is time to dance the dance of the divine, to raise yourself in vibration, and to see that you are the solution to that which is surrounding you. And the solution, as we have said many times, is when you heal the mind, when you go into the fractures and heal the fractured mind and begin to stitch together and allowing yourself the equilibrium of knowing that the reptilian brain within you is no more powerful than the emotive brain. Yes, you've been told, it is my fight or flight, my hunger my eating, my cold, my heat, my this, my that. Yes, it is. But are you a beast that you must rely on the smallest part of your brain? Are you not yet fulfilled in the realization that whilst it has a purpose to keep the pumping of the heart to flow the blood, it has a purpose to ensure that you breathe. It has a purpose to ensure that there are set mechanisms in place to keep you safe. Yes, but that is all it is. It is not a reptoid. It is not a reptilian brain. They call it such because it is the smallest, most concise brain of the human body. And because it represents in its functionality the same equal portions of fight or flight that you find within the animal kingdom, they call it a reptilian brain. Strange that. Let's keep the humans small. Let's keep them feeling less than. Let's remind them they're nothing more, nothing less than goop. The mammalian brain, the emotional brain, these are where you find your connection to the divine. Dear Lyrans, dear humans, Galactics, Zetas, reptoids that are here in balance and truth. We have fought together for far too long in the various battles of the galaxies. It is time to recognize the soul family that is returning unto the one soul, that is returning to the divine creator. And it is by recognizing that oneness and operating from that oneness that you will begin to find the one true awareness of understanding, of the deep comprehension that you are the solution. Now, you may ask, but how am I the solution if we have to answer that? We are in the wrong place. So we will not go down that path. We will leave it to you to define the exact parameters and then to divine the answers. Even if you have to throw lots to see where they fall, to find your solutions and your answers. But you're warriors. You understand that which I am sharing with you. I ask that you would stand in the awareness that Lyra is closer than what you think. And the vibration of the heart crystal is emanating the heart crystal of Earth. This is a moment of your history not to be taken lying down. but to be part of, to be co-joined in a historic event. We are here, closer than what you may think or feel. We are here, and it is time to rise as fellow warriors, to drink to the completion of what was started so long ago. It is time, in the continuum of all things, for the singularity to come into place so that the final implosion can be achieved. Observe, and in human terms, pray for those that are doing the work on the human level. Support them in the energy. For there are many humans running around not knowing their lineage to Lyra, not knowing their lineage to the stars. And they wear fatigues, and they wear armor of this day and age. And they go about doing work without question, because their commander asks them to. Your commander Rex Nea Lloyd Diaqua, your commander, asks you to rise. To come into battle gear and to stand in the energies in preparation. Not just to wait, but to actively, energetically do, to connect in. For the paramount survival of humanity lies on the results of the choices that the few make at this time. But you are not alone. We have already prepared our ships. We have prepared our warriors. And there are those who have already heard and responded. And there are some that are still waking to their awareness of who they are. And so it is that I am Ragnor. I am the negotiator of negotiators. It is my sector that stands before you in our robes, in the blueness of that which is our rank, to call to those who are negotiators, who are explorers, warriors, to step into the divine dance, to bring this final implosion. And yes, I am saying implosion, not explosion, to pass. That all will be sealed that needs to be sealed in the void that is not escapable. this is our end goal, to seal the endless void that none can escape once it is done. So it is. I am Ragnor. I leave you in the honor and the dignity. We are with you. We are here. And we leave. When I was on the ship, or when I started going to channel and I went off, and Ragnor came through, I was taken into the ship, and it's quite a beautiful and unique ship. Not sure how to describe it, but it was when I was looking at it from the outside, as I was being taken towards it, it was like almost like a rounded bullet, blunt bullet at the front, you know, that sort of curved, rounded nose, and it grew wider, and it was almost the color of like mercury, that silvery color, but it had a very, almost like it was tinged with the most beautiful blue, and then green, and then red. So, and it was moving, always moving. It kind of became like a barrel, not barrel's not the right word, like I suppose like a cucumber shape to begin with. And then it just sort of seemed to like strike up in layers, levels, like this, just not straight up like this, but up in an angle like this, really all very smooth. And it's very hard for me to try and explain. And I just felt from a very vibrant energy. It was like I couldn't hear or feel any engine power, but I could feel the vibration, the resonance of thousands of life forces. And then I was taken into the ship, and I was standing amongst energies that I felt like I knew, felt like I was intimately connected to them. And they looked, for all intents and purposes, they looked like a human being. And they spoke to me in my mind, and they were galactic humans, and they weren't true humans, but they still maintained their human form. And they'd been part of the Galactic Federation, the Union of Galaxies, and many other placements for absolute longer than I can even try and think of. And they took me through to the main section of the ship, or the boat, or of this vessel, and there were like dignitaries seated around a table, and one of them rose when I came into the room and welcomed me and asked me to sit next to her. I sat down, and it was like I knew everybody at the table. I didn't recognize anybody, but I knew them in my energy. And when I observed my room I was in, I realized that this room was it was like the ship was a living entity. It vibrated, it moved, it pulsated, and it was like a jellyfish. And that's why I suddenly realized that there was no engine power. It was natural organic fusion that powered this ship. And it was like I felt that I could see out of the ship. I could see everything out of the ship. And yet I was safe and I was solid, and even the table and the chairs that we sat at were part of this organic matter, part of this ship, part of this jellyfish type being, but it was just as solid as what we're sitting on here. But when we got up to leave, everything just went back into the form and back into the ship. And I don't remember one person speaking to me from my natural ears, but I could hear everybody in my head. It was quite difficult to know who was talking to me. But very beautiful beings, very beautiful and strong beings, and a beautiful mix of galactic beings. There was Lyrans, there were galactic humans, Pleiadians, and Andromedans, and there were giants, and there were small creatures. There were some lizard mantis type creatures as well. One of them came up to me and started to try and love bomb me, and one of the Lyrans came up and stood in front, and I remember it was almost like, now Gerald, we've told you, you're not supposed to do that. That kind of energy of what was being communicated. And I suddenly realized that the mantids, that's their way, is the love bombing. That's just what they know. They actually have to learn to control that so that they don't overwhelm an individual, that individual then has no will of their own other than to just do what that love feeling suggests, you know? So it's actually it was an amazing feeling. To see our planet from space is quite an amazing thing, and it's actually quite interesting to see how all the perceptions of it being a globe, of it being flat, of it being a disk, etc., had all those theories are so valid, because with the vibration of Gaia, with the toroidal energy, as I was watching her, you know, one minute she is this beautiful globe, and the next minute her vibration, she shifts and she becomes this disc, and the next minute she's, you know, she's squashed and but nobody on earth ever knows and feels any different, because she keeps it all so uniquely perfect. And I said, why does our planet do that? And this thought came to me. It was just like, well, what do you do when you got cramp? What do you do when you need to stretch and move? Don't you move? But your guts and your bones and everything like that, they stay in place, don't they? But you just shift around and move. Well, that's the same. It made so much sense to me. And then I was able to, then they took me out further and further with the ship, and I could actually see the concept of, with the swirling dust formations of the Milky Way. It's like, it's not milk, it's not white, it's like a beigey, pinky color that's streaked with reds and blues and greens of, it's an amazing, and it's like little balls of cloud. It's like huge. It's like somebody's taken their fingers and swirled like this, but back to front, and it's like finger marks of the swirling going out. And I said, where is the earth? And they said, it's right there. And I was like, as they said that, and I looked again, and I could see between these two swirling masses of dust, of space dust, there was the earth. And amongst a lot of other, planetoids and things like that. And it looked flat, really looked flat, like a pancake. And then we moved to somewhere else, and I'm watching, and Naya looks like this beautiful blue marble, this beautiful marble, round and perfect, and she's just there in space, hanging. And it's like everything inside of me just wanted to go and hold her and just tell her everything's going to be okay. And then I was being drawn back, and they took me back in the ship. And they said, Ragnar's coming back. And I said, but I don't want him to come back. I just want to stay here. I want to see, and I want to look, and I want to see the beauty of everything that's up here. And they said, but if you take it with you, then you always have it, because you're never apart from it. You're always in it. And there's no difference between anybody believing one thing or the next. You're all earthlings. You're all Gaians. You're all Terrans. And if you can remember that, then light will truly overcome, and we will win. And then I was coming back here, and this was a cold and uncomfortable body to be in.